Welcome to Humanitarian Hour, where compassion knows no bound and kindness takes center stage. The Humanitarian Hour on Vision FM 92.1 Abuja, in conjunction with the Institute for Humanitarian Studies and Social Development, comes to you every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Humanitarian Hour is a program that promises to bring you humanitarian issues as they affect us. Join the experts as they bring you tales of hope, resilience, and humanity's brightest moments. Tune into the Humanitarian Hour and be a part of a movement that celebrates the best of humanity. Because together, we can create a world where compassion reigns supreme. The Humanitarian Hour, airing every Wednesday, 11 a.m. on Vision FM 92.1 Abuja. Don't miss it.
Alright, good morning esteemed listeners and welcome to Humanitarian Hour on Vision FM 92.1 Abuja. I am your host Abbas Omar Farouk, and as always, it's a pleasure to have you join us on this interactive platform where we tackle pressing humanitarian issues. Yesterday marked International Men's Day, a day dedicated to celebrating the positive contributions of men to society, family, and the upbringing of children. In honor of this day, today's discussion will focus on a crucial topic: the importance and benefits of vocational training for children. The importance and benefits of vocational training for children, while also acknowledging the significant role men play in the development of children. Vocational training equips children with practical skills that prepare them for life's challenges. Beyond this, the active involvement of men, whether as fathers, mentors, or role models, has a profound impact on a child's growth, confidence, and aspirations. Together, we'll explore how vocational training and the contributions of men intersect to create a strong foundation for children's development. To guide us through this discussion, we have two exceptional guests in the studio. Dr. Prince Francis Origa, he is the Registrar and CEO of the Institute for Humanitarian Studies and Social Development. He's also a UN scholar and spokesperson for the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. We also have Ambassador Olubunmi Dayo David Faburo. He is the National President of the Institute's Alumni Association and Executive Director of Africa the Dreamland International Foundation. We'll also open the phone lines later in the program, giving you the opportunity to share your thoughts and questions. Let's uncover how vocational training and the contributions of men can drive holistic development in children. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll start the discussions.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining, it's still Humanitarian Hour on Vision FM 92.1, and the topic of discussion this morning is the importance and benefits of vocational training for children. Children are the future, and their development requires deliberate efforts in skill building, education, and emotional guidance. Vocational training offers children a practical edge, equipping them with skills that foster independence and financial empowerment. However, this development isn't solely about programs. It also heavily relies on the guidance of caregivers, especially men. Men as fathers, mentors, and community leaders play a vital role in shaping a child's moral and emotional foundation. Their involvement in children's education, skill acquisition, and the overall upbringing can instill confidence, discipline, and ambition, Recognizing and leveraging this role, particularly in vocational training, can create a ripple effect benefiting families and society at large. And, well, we have two men in the studio. I think they're best fit for the topic of discussion this morning. I have, like I said earlier, Dr. Prince Francis Origa and Ambassador Olubemi Dayo David Fabiro. Good morning, and thank you for joining me this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, very good morning, as always.
All right, let's dive straight into the conversation this morning. Dr. Prince, can you start by describing the role of vocational training in preparing children for a sustainable future?
Well, vocational training didn't start today. As a matter of fact, it has been part of our tradition. As you can see in some clans in most parts of Nigeria, every tradition has its own unique ways of developing children. There are traditions where you go to, like in most Yoruba clan, a father is going to do his vulcanizing job. He's taking his little boy, his little child, alongside with him. You know, in those days, we used to look at it like, why should this man be stressing this little boy? And then before you know it, that little boy has become an expert. The father is not around, and you come with your car or you come with your tire, that little boy, it will so amaze you that that little boy would take care of that tire even better than the father would have done. While growing up in Lagos, I used to have a very famous battery charger, around our streets. His two kids were better than the man, that even people who were patronizing the father at some point would, the moment they come and they ask after those two kids, if they are not there, they will prefer. Then we do not have what you call this. What do you call this new latest battery now that you have dry cells? Then it was acid. They know how to do the magic. So these little children know how to do the magic and will always give you the best. No matter how condemned your battery is, they have a way of patching it up. And so they got higher patronage than their father, and people kept dashing them money. So that's actually part of vocational training. But then, as at that time, we didn't know it as vocational training. So we were just looking at it traditionally. It's out of poverty. It's out of joblessness. It's out of hunger that this man will carry his children to go and start. And, over time, you find out that by the time that man is no longer alive, that particular venture will continue as a line of trade or a line of business or venture for the family. It becomes a family empire, So we, at this critical time in our economy and in our nation, where the other sectors are oversaturated, where people, you graduate from the university, you can't even find a job. The little one you have, or is being reserved for someone, even when you have first class. So, and you start roaming, the children start roaming around the street, or the young people start roaming around the street with their first class. You are denied job either because of favoritism, nepotism, tribalism, and all these things. But if that child had gotten vocational skills, just as I did mention, if in the family circle is being enshrined and entrenched as a way of life, that every child in a particular family must have a particular skill. Going forward, even when you go to the university, the higher institutions, and you have graduated, you cannot be stranded, even if there is no job for you to do. You create job for yourself. You create opportunities for yourself. So, right now, that we are even advocating that in this 21st century that government should encourage that this should be introduced both at the primary school level, at the secondary school level, and at the tertiary school level. Yes, vocational training is key for sustainable social development and sustainable development of any nation, because it was in the 21st century or the 20th century that we started talking about computer as we rolled away from the manual typewriter and all of those things, and we're moving to the computer age. Now, how many percentage of young people are computer literate? But if, as we ushered into that era, government took it as a matter of necessity to ensure that computer was provided for every school and even make it compulsory. That's a skill on its own. That's a skill on its own. But then, aside from having just these digital skills, those other vocational skills like that I've talked about, which might also include for the girl child, hairdressing, catering, bead making, soap making, and the rest of other things, they can use that to be independent and not crying that a man wants to take an undue advantage of me. I applied for a job, and so the manager said I have to sleep with him before I get the job. Because what? Aside from that certificate, even in most instances, the certificates, our young people are unable to defend the certificate from the higher institutions. But you can defend your skill. So why paying much attention to certificates that cannot be defended and paying less attention to skills that you can be defended? That's my take on that.
All right.
I know.
Good take. He has actually spoken about the traditional method of vocational training, which is also one thing that is peculiar to us in Africa here. I actually wanted to speak about that, but he has spoken extensively about that. I remembered in 2017, I used to have one of my friends. He called me his friend. Today he's late, Professor Sule Bello of blessed memory. One day he called me and he said, Ambassador, he likes to talk to me like his friend. And he said, I want you to do something with your foundation. I want you to look from the normal way that people have been looking into. Why don't you create a program that will help young people, learn one vocational training or skill or the other. At least they have handheld, program that they know that this is practical, and anything that you can practically do, nobody takes it away from you. There are times you read and you forget what you are reading. There are times that you read that you forget what you have read. So, but at this time, he called me and he said, look out for sectors where you have more of mediocres, illiterates, doing certain businesses. That if people who have gone to school, probably you have passed through the four wall of, tertiary institution, bring them together, let them sit down. Let us now brainstorm and see how best, we can take charge of such some years after. And I created what we call my company. I have a cleaning company. I had to travel out of the country to go and learn it and bring that, model down to Nigeria. For me, and we are excelling seriously because we have a lot of mediocre in that industry. And if you do it differently, definitely you'll get a new result. And people are looking for different results because people are still doing things the normal way. And the only way to get a new result is to learn it or do something different. So what I'm saying in essence is vocational skills is highly important at this time and age. Anybody or any young men or women that is seeing it as something that is not worthwhile, then you should go and think about it. I've traveled extensively. I have seen where a Uber driver will marry a doctor. That will not happen in Nigeria. I have seen where a plumber, somebody that is a plumber outside the country, will marry a lecturer. But in Nigeria, that will not happen because of his skills. And the skills, that vocational skills, had actually helped, to bring what we call financial freedom to the family. And I can tell you, many people with such skills abroad in higher. So it is very imperative for us to now come home and see how we can domesticate this idea properly. There are so many skills. My daughter is in the uni. Before this semester, she told me she wants to learn camera. That is how to use camera and camera handling. And I said, okay, it's okay. And she went for it. So she had gotten that knowledge. She has gotten that practical skill, and nobody can take it away from her. Sometimes she will do some videos, and so this is very important. Parents need to start thinking in this direction and look at ways to help their children in one vocational skill or the other that will sustain their future, and that is where the world is going right now.
That's why, that's just like he has said, and that's why overseas, there is rapid development, and each time structures are created, industries are created, you already have ready-made hands that are going to do those things. Here we import almost everything. We get fresh tomatoes, fresh peppers, everything, and we move them out. And they repackage for us and bring down here. Because over there you have people with such vocational skills that can afford to put those things together and bring back for us. As low as toothpick, we still import it here in the country. Now, our people travel. If you look at countries like Dubai, United Arab Emirates, you look at Qatar, you look at India, and most of the Arab countries, they pay more attention to vocational skills than your academic qualification. So what can you do is their own. If you are good in lorry driving, and at the same time you can do mechanical part of it.
You are a rich man.
Oh, you are a hot cake. As long as you can drive, and when the vehicle breaks down, you put it in order. And you're also helping the factory to also service the vehicles. Oh, you're a hot cake to be taken. You are a welder. You can work in construction company, and whether you did civil engineering or not, in as much as you can provide a particular skill that solves the problem for that company, you get job. They hire you. But here, we want to go and study mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, aeronautic engineering, petrochemical engineering. And by the time we come out, we do not have the practical skills on any of those things. Even ordinary computer science that people study, you will be begging them. By the time you want to employ them, give them laptop to type something. They will tell you, sir, I don't know how to use
a whole computer science graduate.
Computer science graduates. We have a couple of instances where we have interviewed such individuals, and they will tell us they are not, sir, I don't have a personal laptop. That's why I didn't learn. But they will tell you, but sir, I'm a fast learner. So you're a fast learner. Why didn't you learn it all the while you were in school? Then the excuse she will give to you is that we were not given opportunities for practical. We never had enough computer systems to do practical. Okay, you didn't have that opportunity. But could you locate a business center around your environment where you stay? Even within the school environment. Somebody who wants to become a computer guru should be able to, by the time the class is over, or spend the weekend to go to a business center
and attach yourself to them and say, I want to learn this skill. Even if you have to pay them a token, or you render your services and be helping them to do some of their works in typing for other people. And in the course of doing so, you're also watching the person who is doing graphic. You are learning from there. As you keep running errands from them, with them, you keep growing. That's why the Nwa boy thing in Igbo land
Apprenticeship
thrives so much.
Works perfectly
The
fine.
apprenticeship, it is the largest in the world.
Yeah, definitely.
Because by the time a child gets to a certain level, or you have finished primary school,
And it's
in
one of
those
the most
days,
successful too.
yes, in those days they will call you and say, oh yeah, you join your one of the king's men in the community who is doing well in Kafanchan or who is doing well in Lagos. You are going to go with him. And you go spend 5 years, spend 7 years, in some instances 10 years. And you learn the skill. And you find some very brilliant children who, aside from learning the buying and selling aspect of that skill, they are also learning how to repair some of these electronics when things go wrong. You know, so by the time you bring, we used to mimic this, they are selling slogans. When they say an Abraba man, you bought, you go and buy globe from him. And by the time you get home, use the globe, the next day it died. Or the thing didn't show up. And you bring it back to his shop. He say, buy. He say, buy. That is to say, did you on it before you plug the bulb? And then you say, I on it before I plug the bulb. The man say, it's your fault. Why would you on the switch before you plug the bulb? You made a mistake. Then you now go get another one. And by the time you go again, and the thing will die the next day, and you come back, and he will ask you the same question. And then you say, that is to say, I plugged it first before on it. And I say, oh, it's your fault. You shouldn't have plugged it before on. So which one would you have done? When you on before you plug, they say you are at fault. Now, and these young boys have learned all the techniques, and they will tell you they know the originals of some of these products. Over time, if you give them the opportunity, and that's why by the time they grow, you find them, they become importers of those products. They travel to China and give specifications because they know what the society is looking for. They know that there are elites, people who are looking for high quality density of such products that will not die even in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years. And they will also give to those people who are looking for the one they popularly call Oberego. That's those who are looking for the cheap one. Give me the cheapest one. So if you take the cheapest one, they will tell you, if you take the cheapest one, if you die, it has no guarantee. So these are entrepreneurship skills that help to advance society. If you do not give children that opportunity, how would they contribute? And in Lagos, there's a particular family in Egbeda. I watched their documentary the other day on the television. Almost the entire family, just like Ambassador Lubumi was talking about, photography. Almost the entire family, including the 6 years child, is the most of the experts amongst them. Almost the entire family, they know how to snap photography, cinematography. They are just so good in it. So a little baby, as they are growing, they go to the studio, watch what their father is doing. And they are going for occasion, they are following their father. Now they follow the siblings. So everybody in that family, including the wife of the man, is a professional photographer. And they have used that to send their children overseas, send them to school, and they will tell you, aside from this skill you have acquired, acquire education, so that when you add education to it, it makes you to become a full-time celebrity in that area. Not just knowing it from the practical perspective, you can now understand when they say photo. What is the word photo? You can Google the word photo. You can check why is it called photo. Are there other things that makes it photo? So I think just like Ambassador Lubumi has said, parents should encourage their children to get a skill. A girl, today you find a full grown-up adult. She is looking for easy way of making money. Or she's waiting for federal government job, state government job. Then ask them, what do you have? They don't have any other additional skill. Not even digital skill, not even computer skill, not even any other vocational skill. Except for that their Bali, their certificates that they have gotten from the university. Microbiology or Edu Yoruba or whatever thing they have. And they expect that employers of labor should employ them. And of course, in our government setting, we keep recycling people, civil servants who are redundant. And of course, the civil service system does not even help to grow any young person and make you intellectually sound, because at that place, you cannot think or act beyond your director. Definitely. You go through the assistant director to deputy director to director. So if you have any innovation, you have any creative idea to bring, it will die there.
The era of certificate is fast, going.
So it's now Sabi.
Yeah, they call it Sabi ticket.
Sabi ticket.
Yeah, in Yoruba, just like the what do you call it? The pidgin word. When you know something, they will say you Sabi. So it's now Sabi ticket. So the Sabi ticket era is one era where, yes, you aspire to go to school, good, go to higher institution and learn one or two programs that will also help you to get that financial freedom. But the most important right now is understanding the practical aspect of what you have studied. And this is in line with passion. So if your passion, or there is a family business that your family is doing, that is why you see abroad, they will say, oh, this organization is a family business, that this business is a family business. For instance, if you look at Coca-Cola, it's just one family put adding one flavor to water. And today, the world is celebrating them. So, and one thing they did is every child in that family will start going to the lab with their parents, see how they are doing things, come to the factory, look at how, and they ask questions almost every time like that. And that is how it is. Today, we don't have anybody going to farm again, and you want Nigeria to be better. It's not possible. Most of those periods where we have surplus of foods are gone. And in the next 5 years, if we are not careful, we'll be in more troubles. So it is very imperative right now, especially parents, that you are listening to us right now. Ask your children, and if they cannot identify a particular vocational skills that they want to, start or do, create one. Look at them. Look at some of the hidden skills that you have seen in them that are very exceptional to you, and you think if you push them towards this, there are times that children will not even understand, but there are few ones that understands what they have and what they want to do. Like my son just called me one day and he said, I need a drum, go. It took me a longer time to accept. And I said, why do you want it? He said, in church, I like the guy that used to beat the go-go, and sometimes he will not come to church. And he loved to at least feel that space for him. So that's the lacuna, and he identified that. So I bought him the goggle. I think it was 30,000 naira or so. And the guy taught him how to do it. So they said one day he sent me a video of him in a bigger church, and he was drumming. He was just 10 at that time. And I was like, are you for real? So, and he said when he was going, they gave him money. Are you getting it? And he is also very exceptional in his studies. So sometimes when we see children telling us certain things, okay, last holiday, he started coding. And he will be the one that will say, oh, Daddy, I want to do this. All you need to do is to push them, support them, so that they will be able. He has identified certain things in his own life. Or probably he has seen some of his friends who are doing that. And I think his passion too goes in line with such. Help them achieve those dreams at this very early stage. And we call it catch them young.
All right, if you're just joining, this is Humanitarian Hour on Vision FM Max 2.1, and we've been talking about the importance and benefits of vocational training for children, while also acknowledging the significant role men play in the development of children. Doctor, what are the primary challenges faced in integrating vocational training into Nigeria's education system? Because I feel it needs to be taught at that level.
I think we should actually open the line for, a topic like this. We need to have people to make contribution to it so that it doesn't appear as if we are the only one dominating it. But of course, while we are encouraging people to phone in into the program, it's important to still continue the conversation by laying emphasis on these areas you are talking about in terms of the challenges. First and foremost, I should think is because the awareness. I'll look at the awareness first. Awareness first. Because when we talk about enshrining this into our education.
Good morning. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, Mr. Abbas. My name is Oga Gabriel. I'm calling from Barimpa.
All right, Oga Gabriel. What do you have for us?
About this topic, I want to give blame to in two ways. The first blame goes to the government. The government of this is they prepare certificates and the handwork that one goes on land. Why did I say so? In those days, people in the past, if you want to be employed, they don't attach too much certificates if you are taking to give. So they all depend, what they want is what you know and what you can offer. And it is like that with every other sector. But of recent time, because the big men are reserving a better position for their children who went to school, they don't care about what is in your hostel. All they know is where is your paper, where is your certificate, where did you go to school, who are your classmates. You understand? So the boys these days don't want to wait for vocational training before they get jobs, because others of their mates who have a backup are getting jobs with their certificate. So everybody wants to go to school. When you ask for work, they say, what is your qualification? They will not ask even if you know the job very well, you know the practice, the practical very well. You understand? I will read engineering, maybe civil engineering, like that. It's in the office drinking tea and is taking part salary, while the laborers don't know the job, who are doing the job, are in the sun doing the job, and they don't see money. So what is the essence? It's like all of us should go to school and obtain certificate and remain in the office and be doing the field work from office. You understand? That is why some people don't want to go into vocational jobs. Then the second blame also go to children these days. I attach it to my former, what I said before. The children are in a hurry to make it because other people are making it in any way. Look at today. If a child read a computer engineering, all they will use it to do Yahoo, to do cyber crime. That is how our children have become today. They don't want to spend 4 years, 5 years learning mechanics or carpentry or anything like that because it's like it is too long for them to do. That they want instant money. That's why they don't want to learn these days. And our parents, yes, some of them have a blame. And not all of them anyway. Some people don't even have money to sponsor their children, to sponsor their work or any vocational work because of the poverty of this day. So these are the blames I see in various ways. But it is better for a child to learn vocational job because if you only depend on your knowledge on the certificate, if it fails, you will fail totally. That is my take on. Good morning.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Okay Gabriel, for calling in on Humanitarian Hour this morning.
There is
Doctor.
Talking about the government has a lot of road to
challenges. Yeah.
I agree with him, but notwithstanding, there is this African philosophy that the training of children is not limited to a family alone. It's extended even to the community at large. Because I remember growing up seeing people who the community will collectively come together and contribute money and send overseas. Based on your performance and your character that you have displayed in the community, including your patriotism. So, this also means that those communal efforts that we had always used in supporting educational development in our various localities, we can also extend it or expand it by introducing more of vocational studies and vocational skills in those communities. Now, if you go to Igbo clan, where the age grade system exists, even the August women meeting, where all the women return back from different countries of the world to visit their communities and to debate on social development issues affecting that community. Many of them give scholarship to young people, and many of them build good road, water system, and all of that. So, some of them have also tried in providing skill acquisition centers. But we can also advocate further that various groups, interest groups, pressure groups in different communities can go to the school, even if government did not provide it. Ask the authorities to give you maybe a space. You can integrate skill acquisition there. You can provide very computer centers there. I also know that sometimes some of these things, that's why it has to be a collective responsibility. Some of these things, when they are donated, they are being vandalized or they are being stolen by the same members of the communities, the young people, the smokers, those who constitute nuisance in the community. So, if you donate those things, there's also the need to, that's why in development sector, you don't approach issue alone. You must have a buy-in of the community. You must do your needs assessment. You must do your community mobilization. That's why in the Institute for Humanitarian Studies and Social Development, we try to teach some of these areas because they are key indicators to sustainable projects. So, you bring in the key stakeholders together, including the youth leaders, the women leaders, to have a buy-in to understand the importance of having a vocational skill in that community, or enshrined or inculcated into the primary, secondary school, so that it will be protected. It will become their own. They will have the ownership of those things that have been donated. Now, going forward, the maintenance will not be an issue, because part of the problem government have is maintenance culture. We are good in building things. Sometimes when we build edifices, we don't even equip them with the right facilities that should be there. And before you know it, even the ones who will equip, we will leave them, and they will be stolen away from us without engaging the community people and say, this thing belongs to you. So if anything happens to it, you are the one losing. Government is not going to be here to be providing it for you. So by the time participatorily, the community people have a stake in those projects, it becomes sustainable. And of course, we cannot also rule away entirely. Government might not be doing it all right, but we cannot rule away entirely that government have also not been playing a role when it comes to that. I remember in Lagos State, I always like to use Lagos as an example. Some people say, why are you not using your state? Because I grew up in Lagos. I schooled in Lagos before schooling overseas. And I saw it was in the same government of this very president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Ashwaju, that they built vocational centers, women development centers. When Auntie Joke Adefulire Orelepe was the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, and even when she moved to become the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, that trajectory continued. Now, in every local government, there was a skill acquisition center. There was a women development center built in every local government. And they employed development strategies by involving the community people, involving the local government stakeholders to be part of it, part of the running and part of the maintenance. So, at that point, if at our various communities and in other states, we can have a replication of such thing. I also remembered the 4 Millennium Secondary School built by His Excellency Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 4 local government areas of Lagos State, including Alimosho local government, including Agege local government, including Ajeromi Felodun local government, including Ikeja local government, which was cited in along Ojoduda's Babs Fafunwa Millennium Secondary School. Now, this classical structure had skill acquisition in them, including well-structured laboratories, well-structured computer centers where young people were being trained. Now, if we can have government, I don't know why at this time those noble initiatives are no longer being, being fronted the way we're supposed to have them at this particular era where hunger, poverty has taken over. So, if other people can emulate them, including our so-called politicians that are representing us at the legislative level, if they can see that as part of their constituency project and not just going home to their various constituencies to go and buy Ankara and distribute, buy rice, give people in cups, buy Gari, give people in cups, and then buy Okada for them to kill themselves with Okada without formal training. If they can understand the development strategies, that if before you embark on such thing, there has to be assessment, appraisal, and then you mobilize the community people, constitute project advisory committee in the community, constitute project implementation committee, PIC, in the community, and let them help you, involve the community people to have those. You will be surprised that if you are a politician representing a particular constituency, you'll be surprised that you will not use their money to buy the land. The community will donate land to you. You'll be surprised that you will not spend your money in buying cement, in buying blocks, because the community people will even if you bring cement and bring block, the community people will be bringing yepe, sand, and you see the women and the youth carrying it on their head as their personal thing, and before you know it, it is built and commissioned. These are very simple things we can do. So it's not only about government; it is something that is encompassing, that must be multi-sectoral and that must be multidimensional. If we must succeed in this.
All right, before we wrap up the program, I want to ask this question. As we reflect on International Men's Day, let us understand what are the broader contributions of men to children's holistic development beyond vocational training. Because like we pointed out earlier, men are always under-celebrated.
Thank you, Abbas. I thought you would not talk about men.
No.
Because Ambassador Lubumi has said that we like to push men at the corner. He's going to speak on that, but briefly, just to tell you that, you see, men wear so many shoes and so many caps. They wear for themselves, they wear for their wives, they wear for their children. In as much as women are the one who stay back home most times, that reach out to these children, create certain bond. But like I was watching on social media, seeing a man who was trying to fabricate something, and suddenly he lost control of that, and that thing hit him up, and he fell down. People rushed him, and somebody said, this is part of the things men go through to provide food for their family. Now, a man will take a woman to a restaurant, to a fast food. Let us even begin from that practical aspect. Abbas, I know when you toast girls, you used to do that. When you take them to an eatery, you find out that they are ordering for chicken, ordering yogurt. By the time you check your pocket, you know that what this girl may be ordering, I may not have all the money to pay. So you limit yourself to a bottle of Coke. And then she asks you, you say, I've eaten before coming. I ate before. You have not eaten,
I don't think I will do that. I love myself so much.
So men go through a whole lot of things, sleepless nights, to make sure that they provide for their children and they provide for their wives. Let Ambassador Lubumi say more, because we have
a few minutes to go.
All right. Very quickly, I want to use this opportunity to appreciate every man, in the world, especially those ones that are doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching them. Those ones who are taking care of their family. I want to say this: men are going through so much that you can't even talk on this program right now. I think we'll need to have another day. I've said men had never been celebrated for so long. Nobody even cared about them. And just like the story that he spoke about right now,
we should dedicate a whole episode for men.
Yeah, just to talk about men, because most times we just talk about women. Even we men, we want to talk about women more. Of course, there are men that are very that are not doing the right thing. I don't want to use vulgar language here, but there are men that are doing what they are supposed to do. They are giving every thing to make sure that they sustain their family and their children are doing well. This vocational training that we also spoke about, the role of men in making sure that their children, because let me tell you, I have said it so many times that children are not afraid of their parents, of their father. When you see them, when they drive in, they rush in or they keep quiet. There are times where their mother, over familiarity also brings some disrespect. That is why you see that mother will talk to a child and will say, okay, if your father comes, you are in trouble. It is not that the child is afraid of the father, but it is out of respect. So for that reason, what we need to do as men now is to be able to understand our roles and how to use it to the betterment of our families. If every family have good men. Let us continue. If family have good man, definitely we'll have a bigger society that will at least we're populated with good people, because most things that children learn, I'm telling you, 30% of it are things that they hear, and 70% of it are the behavior, those things that they emulate from you. They are always very practical. And this is one of the reasons why we need better men to understand how to help us shape this society that we are right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Doctor, anything you want to say quickly before we wrap up the program?
Well, the responsibility of taking care of children and also providing safety and security for our nation lies in the hands of all of us. Because when a child is empowered through a vocational skill and through other secular conventional education, it also means you have provided safety and security for the nation so that you're able to keep them busy. So it's the responsibilities for all. And at the Institute for Humanitarian Studies and Social Development, we will always call on people to join hands with us, and those who would like to volunteer with us as humanitarian volunteers, and those who want to become our fellows, and those who want to take our courses in different humanitarian areas should please call on us. Visit us. We are at Malam Shehu Plaza, Jabi upstairs, Suite 1, second floor, Institute for Humanitarian Studies and Social Development, in partnership with the United Nations Institute for Training and Research. We are here in Jabi. Thank you.
All right, as we conclude today's conversation, we recognize the dual importance of empowering children through vocational training and celebrating the indispensable role of men in their development. By equipping children with practical skills and providing strong male mentorship, we can create a generation ready to lead and innovate. Special thanks to our guests, Dr. Prince Francis Origa and Ambassador Olubunmi Dayo David Fabiro, for their valuable insights and expertise. To our listeners, thank you for joining in, and callers, thank you for calling and for your contributions. Let's remember that nurturing children is a collective responsibility, and men have an undeniable role in shaping the future. And I want to urge our listeners to continue to appreciate men. I think we said the next edition will be about men. Yes, because people need to understand the role men play in development of children and even the society at large. Until next time, I'm Abbas Umar Farouk. Stay tuned to Vision FM 92.1 Abuja for more engaging programs. Have a wonderful day.
Welcome to Humanitarian Hour, where compassion knows no bound and kindness takes center stage. The Humanitarian Hour on Vision FM 92.1 Abuja, in conjunction with the Institute for Humanitarian Studies and Social Development, comes to you every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Humanitarian Hour is a program that promises to bring you humanitarian issues as they affect us. Join the experts as they bring you tales of hope, resilience, and humanity's brightest moments. Tune into the Humanitarian Hour and be a part of a movement that celebrates the best of humanity. Because together, we can create a world where compassion reigns supreme. The Humanitarian Hour, airing every Wednesday, 11 a.m. on Vision FM 92.1 Abuja. Don't miss it.